All right, guys, we are back in Park City, Utah at beautiful altitude adjustment. We've talked a ton about the framing on this project from a lot of different sides, but today I have a very special guest with me here to talk about all the amazing framing details from his perspective.
No, friends don't shake, friends hug. I came out with my mittens.
I love it. Thank you for coming to Utah.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You guys, today's episode is going to be amazing. Here at Altitude Adjustment, let's get going.
Altitude Adjustment, a Build Original series, is brought to you by Builders FirstSource, Delta Millworks, Huber Engineered Woods, Hella, and Sharkbite. Building a high-end home at high elevation in a very demanding environment. Every product we choose has to meet strict performance, code, and design standards. Zip system sheeting was a natural fit. It's a seamless integration into our wall assembly, which has been engineered not only for performance, but also seismic resilience. From energy efficiency to code complexity, Zip system allows us to check all of the boxes without adding extra trades or extra steps. Up top on our roof assembly, our Zip system sheeting allows for a quick dry-in, so we can be prepared even during some of Utah's most unpredictable weather. For our subfloor surface, we decided to go with the Advantech X Factor, along with the Advantech subfloor adhesive. Together, they deliver a solid floor with a squeak-free guarantee. All of these together are built to support some of our insane luxury finishes that you're going to see throughout the build here on Altitude Adjustment. The durable top layer on the Advantech X Factor allows for easy cleanup on the job. That's one of our most important things, is to make sure that we have a very clean and very safe job site for our team and our trades. In addition to that, the X Factor layer also allows for protection of the subfloor itself. So when we're framing throughout winter conditions, we're not going to be worried about a year down the road having buckled sheets coming together. The Advantech X Factor was a perfect choice for this project. From top to bottom, these products are helping us build better, faster, and smarter, even in these really tough conditions. Visit huberwood.com to learn more about this full assembly and to find rebates to support your next build. We got a good day.
Beautiful day. My first time to Park City.
Well, we got really lucky with weather. It was dumping yesterday, so I'm happy we're doing this today.
I brought the good weather. Normally I bring the rain everywhere I go.
We got the good stuff today. So, altitude adjustment, you've never been here before. You've seen a little bit of the content.
Yep.
I want to just walk through this with you and talk about, like, from a framer's perspective, what are you noticing? And just explain it, because I think a lot of the people that watch these series really just want to know some of the details.
Yeah.
And we sometimes take for granted what we see every day. So it's fun to have you here and see it from someone else's perspective.
Yeah, I'm noticing the big overhangs. I see the start of what I think is going to be a roof for the entry.
Yep.
And of course, as a framer. So we have telehandlers. It changed the way we frame.
Yep.
The framers own this.
Yep. Which is game
Which is
changing.
awesome.
Yeah. It's amazing up here just because, like, our limit of disturbance footprint that we've talked about so much is so tight. Really getting anything to the backside of the house is impossible without this.
You have to have this.
Yeah.
So they're setting all the trusses with this. They're moving materials.
Yep. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But like a few of the things you pointed out, this entry gable, so that's all going to be big timber framing. So we're waiting on all of our timber pieces still. Those are all being, like, custom milled here in Utah. But the guys have started to prep a lot of that and just make sure, like, we're ready as soon as we can receive those timbers to get moving on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm noticing all the LVL fascia.
Yep. So all of our roof has these big overhangs, and we have a huge snow load up here. And so a lot of the overhangs on the roof, because they're not being built out of trusses or truss tails, it's all outlookers.
Okay.
And so everything, we're trying to frame as much of that as possible with this PWT
Mhm.
EWP. And really just make it so that we know we're not going to have any issues with it, and it's sturdy and it's straight and it's stiff and it won't fail in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing hold downs. We can talk about hardware.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go in and check it out. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yep. So Utah is like known for our seismic zone. We build a ton over fault lines.
Okay.
And so you'll notice like shear nailing patterns, tons of hold down.
The big bearing plates on the anchor bolts.
Yep. That's kind of just stuff we standard do.
Yeah.
And all of these straps and all of the anchors, you'll just see on every house we build. Obviously, the bigger the walls, the bigger the windows and the openings.
Well, with a view like that, why would you cover any of it up?
Exactly. So we want these big giant pieces of glass, but what comes with those big giant pieces of glass is little wall. So now we're having to engineer the house so that we have the shear that we need.
Yeah.
And that does come with a lot of big hardware pieces.
So I'm seeing trusses, hand cut, steel,
Little of everything.
and the I-joist rafters.
Yep.
I have a couple of questions as we come in here. So these guys are 16-inch?
Yep. So these are our 90s. So we have a little bit of different things. We've got some on the roof and we have pour joists in the house too. So these are all the things they're going to be using for the roof here in the main kind of family room area. We wanted this big vault ceiling. We wanted to be able to see the big steel ridge beam. So it led towards.
So that's going to stay exposed.
It's going to stay exposed.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
cool. You know, I'm going to have to come back to see that finished up.
I know. It's going to be beautiful. But it is crazy to see because a lot of the house is framed with trusses. Then we get to this family room where it's all stick framed. We have different pitches. So we have a pitch change happening over here. That's so we can get that roof up higher to get the headroom for this big door. And it's tricky. I mean, the other end of this big steel beam is mounted to the side of a big girder truss.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like as the framer tracing point loads, ridge beam to a giant glue lam,
Yep.
split to 4 LVL
Yep.
trimmers or jack studs.
Which is sitting on top of a foundation below,
It goes all the way down.
all the way down.
And all the hangers for the I-joist rafters. I don't think the average person that doesn't install those realizes how much planning the framer has to do.
Yeah.
Because you need to leave yourself access for tools.
Yeah.
You have to know how to install them. You have to cut them all. You have to pitch change. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So this lower steel beam goes all the way to the girder truss.
So it's all the way to the girder truss, and it's just there to change the pitch of that roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is one of the things that I feel incredibly lucky. Our framing team is wildly talented.
Yeah.
And this is a very complicated house. They've done an amazing job. And there's just so many things that on these big custom houses, like you don't really know you're going to run into it till you run into it.
As a framer, when I walk in and see all this, I'm like, instantly, these framers are so much better than I am. Like,
You're fantastic.
kind of blows my mind a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just fun to see like different things and really to see a very complicated roof and just see how much skill and talent these guys have that goes into building this and putting it together.
And not losing their minds as they do it,
Yeah.
which for me, sometimes it's easy to get overwhelmed. So I can see here, the PWT 2x6 roughly LVL. Why are they so long?
So that's how we're creating all of our overhangs for the outside of the roof. And when we cantilever out that roof overhang, we have to come back into the house twice as long as we're going out.
So 3 foot in means 6 feet. Every foot out means 6 feet.
6 feet in. Yep. And so you'll see we've done all of this, just like you said, with the PWT. And it's just coming back into the house that additional 6 feet to make sure that we have the strength.
Yeah.
And the big reason for that is just snow loads.
So where we're at west of Seattle, our frost line is 12 inches. We have no snow load.
Yeah.
So like this is a bunker compared to what we're building.
Yeah. So our frost line here is 48 inches and we're over 100 pound snow load.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that changes the design.
it changes it pretty significantly. Let's walk over to this guest bedroom and we can really look back and see some of those overhangs and how some of these outside corners are created and just supported.
Yeah.
It's kind of unique. So this is a really great shot of that bar roof. And you can see all of our overhangs that we've built. both with engineered lumber, some dimensional lumber, depending on which direction it's going and how much weight we know we're going to have on it.
So like the first couple trusses will be dropped back. You've got 2x6s on edge for the lookouts.
Yep.
But then going the other direction, that's going to be the weak spot.
Yep.
So how's that getting reinforced?
So that's why all of that stuff is done with the engineered lumber. And we'll go down in the bar and you'll be able to see that stuff comes back up in the roof even further. And these outlookers that you were just talking about that come out on these gable ends, you will notice in all of the trusses on the gables, those outside 2 or 3, sometimes even 4 trusses have been built shorter, that 5.5 inches shorter, so those outlookers can sit over the top of them and come all the way back in. So we have that 3 feet out, we've got them going 6 feet back in, and they're just resting on the top of those trusses.
Okay. And then like that corner where the 45 brace is, long term, I would imagine that's going to sag.
Yep. Yeah, so those are going to be weak points. And we have, as part of our timber package that we're waiting to get delivered now, we have these big timber corbels or knee braces that are built. So all of our face rafters that are going to be built on the outside of this, which are also timber, will be sitting on top of these big corbels or knee braces that are really supporting these big, heavy outside corners. So all the gables have knee braces at the ends. They've got a big timber ridge beam that'll get installed. And then we have a full face timber and then kind of one that sits halfway back in the overhang.
I can't wait to see that finished.
Yeah, it's a lot of timber components and really trying to understand like how the house is getting framed and how these timbers are getting attached. There's so much thought that has to go into it that's not necessarily always on the plans. So you really have to have somebody there like smart enough to understand even just the little detail of the framer leaving the sheathing long. Because we know we're installing that timber kind of rafter that'll get added to the face of that. We want that sheathing to come up over the top of the timber. We don't want to come back and scab in a little strip later. So they know like, hey, we have great weather right now. We want to get the roof sheath. Let's just overhang it. And then we can come back, attach the timbers and trim it back if we need to.
It's all connected as a system.
Yep. Makes it so much easier. And this roof gets super complicated. I think we have over 180 total different trusses in the entire house. And a lot of times in rooms like this, we'll have 10 different trusses, even just in a room like this. So these first 4 are down lower for the outlookers to come in. Then we've got gable or girder trusses. Then we have immediately a pitch change. So that truss changes. This end one is vaulted, then we have flat. So right in this room alone, you know, we've got 6 or 7 different trusses just in this space.
Yeah, and I see them the different wall heights.
Yep. So that's another thing with this build that you and I were talking about as we were wandering around. There are no standard height studs. So everything's been cut. And you'll notice just all the different like wall height changes and pitch changes and all kinds of different things that are happening in here that are really quite complicated.
You know what I don't see is I don't see evidence of a lot of we built it and then had to back up, unbuild and rebuild because we got something wrong.
Yeah.
So your framers are they're top notch.
They're really smart. And honestly, the only things that we built and ended up undoing are things like this wall you see behind me that's marked in red. This was an architect thing. They built these double walls purely to create this pocket for a motorized shade to live in.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a great idea. But the homeowner came to town last week and walked through here and went, I'm losing 10 plus inches of room on 2 sides of this room, which isn't really a giant room in the first place. He chose to have these removed, gain the 10 inches in both locations, and we'll just build a valance for those shades. This is great. It's a great idea, but I mean, you can see how much space we're losing by just doing it.
It's real life. You know, once the client comes out, they're going to go, my priority is to get the room back.
Yeah. They want the space.
Yeah. Okay. Then we'll make it happen.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the biggest thing that we're seeing is like changes is mostly just from homeowner walking through and being like, hey, I want to do something a little different.
Yeah.
We can walk down in the bar and look at some of this like really unique hardware that we have on this house, especially on that big outside that sits out on a cliff edge. So let's go check that out.
All right. There's a couple things immediately that I noticed.
Yeah.
Giant PSL columns.
Yeah.
Giant hold downs that are probably taller than I am.
Yeah.
There and there.
Just this wall.
Just that wall.
I mean, this girder truss. So where we were just talking about these PSLs, this girder truss above us is resting on this PSL, which obviously is transferring down to a foundation wall. Same thing's happening over here. So the girder truss has PSLs on both sides.
And the
But-
girder truss bottom chord is what? LVL, like 12-inch LVL?
And it's a four ply girder truss, LVL, sitting on PSL. And the biggest reason for this, and this is really interesting when we're on like the engineering side of things and the truss engineering, we had a crazy amount of uplift happening right here.
Because of the wind coming right off of here?
Right here. So the rest of the house is like fairly simple, fairly normal trusses. But right in this section right here, we just struggled with the engineering and the truss engineering just because everything wanted to pull. So that's why we end up with these girder trusses with LVL bottoms. And then we end up with these big PSLs that are carrying the load. And although this is a bearing wall, which is a foot away from where this big girder truss is, for whatever reason, they decided to use the girder truss when designing this. But it's just all those little pieces that take so many smart people to understand and figure out, way above my pay grade sometimes. But it is like, it's just cool to see it and understand like, this is different.
Yeah.
And
You know what's kind of cool to me is it's one thing to do the design, go through and figure that out, and they're all smart people. But then somebody has to execute it.
Yeah.
To get it correct. So like looking at the giant hold downs,
Yep.
you know, they have to, it's the right rod with the right nut, with the right hold down, with the right impactor that you have to figure out how to get this installed and
Yeah.
leave yourself room.
Leave yourself room to attach them. I mean, even on this other end over here. So this big wall, we've got HDU 11s on both sides. And then this big stacking pocketing slider.
Okay.
And I mean, they're embedded into the concrete in the foundation wall below. So what's visible is nearly as tall as I am.
Yeah.
I mean, you see these things before they get installed. These are massive.
Oh yeah.
They're big, bulky hold downs.
Yeah.
But all of that is just like engineering and trying to figure out like how much uplift do we have? What's our shear? You see this lake way down below us and the wind kicks up here coming up from
High
the lake.
wind and high seismic.
High wind, high seismic, heavy snow loads,
Heavy snow loads, yeah.
low frost depth. So it's just like one thing after another that really complicates the engineering. But not even just the engineering, like you were saying, the execution from the framer's perspective, like just the knowledge that these guys have and the amount of detail that goes into what they're building.
Yeah, and then you add on top of that, everybody has to communicate with everybody
For sure.
to make sure it doesn't get missed.
For sure. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you can hear the guys working as we're standing here, but they've got a little bit left of our roof to do. Once they're done with that, we're going to install all those big timbers outside, which is still quite a big chunk of the framing. And then from there, we got to come inside and, you know, we have 60% of the ceilings in this house are barreled.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So once the framers get done with, you know, the structure, they're going to be back inside the house for a couple weeks, just building these big giant barrel ceilings. And, you know, almost all of our doors are half round.
Yeah.
So they still have a ton of work that they're going to have to come in and do, which is all that little detailed work, right? That's just like figuring it out.
Outside for that.
It will be nice to.
Question. I see a big giant 4-ply LVL header.
Yep.
What is and then basically big long LVLs again, sister.
Yep.
And I see the zip on the side.
Yeah. So this big LVL header, this is a big stacking pocketing slider. And this is holding, I mean, you can see how much glass there's going to be here. It's holding a lot of weight. All of these trusses are sitting on the end of this. Our roof sheds down that direction. It's a heavy snow load section. So this big header is carrying that weight. The PWT, the LVL you're seeing coming back in, those are for our overhang. So this section of the roof actually has a 5-foot overhang.
Okay.
So it's coming way back into the roof on this part here. And then just like you were pointing out was the sandwich on either side of the truss. So when designing this area, we had some weird stuff that was happening. We have an overall max building height in this community, and the truss engineers miscalculated this height of this wall and had the trusses sitting on top of it. But that would have pushed us our overall height. So we had to come up with a truss fix. So the truss engineer and the structural engineer work together to figure out a solution. And then they give that to the framing contractor. So the framers actually torn the end of these trusses apart and rebuilt, kind of notching the end of them out so it can sit on top of that header, and then sandwiching it as the engineer's fix shows.
And and then the trust company signs off on the fix.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not abnormal. There's stuff that's going to happen all the time. It's nearly impossible with a roof this complex to just get everything perfect all the time.
Along those lines, I follow a photographer on YouTube who is a Boeing engineer. Then he just retired, younger than me, and now he just is like an adventure photographer.
That's awesome.
But his background was in aerospace engineering, and he said his department, they can't manufacture an aircraft like this house and get everything right the first time.
Yeah.
So during manufacture, they're like, this doesn't work.
Yep.
His department was responsible for engineering the fix, but now the fix has to last the life of the aircraft.
Yep.
And that's just part of building an aircraft.
Yep.
And then that becomes the future design. So to me, it's like, that doesn't mean somebody got something wrong.
Right.
It just means it's complicated.
I mean, they do that with aircraft. We're building a house. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's always something. And these houses are so complicated, and there's just so much happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you're bound to have something that you're going to have to figure out.
Be so stressed, and you're not stressed at all. You're like such a chill person.
Well, these guys are a huge part of that. I mean,
a good team.
yeah, you have people that are super smart and really are craftsmen and craftswomen that understand like what they're doing. You worry a lot less.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it makes it a whole lot easier.
Well, good for you putting together a good team.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Why don't we walk downstairs, and I want to show you a little bit kind of these engineered walls that we have framed, and maybe just see what you think about why we've done it this way, and show you a couple things downstairs and
Sounds good.
check it out.
You're going that way. I'm going up and over.
You're staring at my funky ceiling.
Yeah, I'm like, the framers clearly did not complete their job. There's something I can find.
Something
I
going on
found
here.
something that they missed.
Yeah, so we have this big glass tube vacuum elevator. So it's like, I always call it like the Jetson elevator. It's like the little bank tube things,
Oh, yeah.
But it's just a vacuum elevator, and it's going to sit here in the corner. It'll go up to the second story. So that's how we have that kind of funky
Is that
Whole
like 4
framed
foot
up.
square?
42 inches. Yeah.
Man, that makes me feel like I'm in the old days when we went to the bank and put our deposit slips.
Yeah, you're
Up.
going through the
I
tube.
feel like, I'm up and over.
Honestly, I mean, the homeowners may use it in the future. I think for them, this is a place they would like to live long term. So just trying to figure out, like, if for whatever reason they were ever in need of assistance or in a wheelchair or something.
We did a house years ago and the client had just been diagnosed with MS.
Yep.
And so it was the same thing. We built the elevator shaft and put all the backing in.
I have a client right now, same thing. And that's exactly how they're thinking. She's got MS. They're just trying to understand like what could happen in the future. So I think we're seeing a lot more of that. And this is just one way. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful glass centerpiece. So it doesn't look bad either. But it's definitely not like a functional multi-person elevator. It's more just like single user.
One more compliment for your framers. I'm seeing glue squeezed out of the seats of all the hangers. Personally, I got away from doing that. I want to do a test to see how well that works.
Yeah.
But everybody that does it, their intention is to give us a better product.
Yeah.
So it's like, that tells me they're paying attention to other details as well.
Yeah. I love that. Sometimes you feel like, and we've used these same framers forever. And so, we've kind of grown with them. And as we use new products like integrating Huber and all the things we've done to make changes in the last few years, like we really sit down with them and say like, this is how they recommend you use it, or this is like the suite of products that goes with it. They've always been really great about using new stuff, which is helpful to me. But they also understand like, we don't want to have floor squeaks in a house like this. We don't want to have issues down the road. So they take their time, and whether it makes a huge difference or not, I can appreciate like they're putting glue in every one of these hangers. You'll notice like the Advantech subfloor glue. Like,
Yep, I can see some of the purple.
yeah, we use a lot of it. Sometimes I would rather use too much. I know there was some dropped on this.
Oh, we used to try to value that, like, oh, well, we're putting too much, we could save a can. What are we saving by saving one can?
Yeah,
We
it's
did
not a
all
big
that
deal.
once and fix a squeak. We saved nothing.
Right. So anytime we have walls that are like over 10 feet, or in this case, both of my stairwell walls,
Okay.
we're doing in solid engineered lumber.
Yeah.
And the reason is like when we get a big giant wall like that, it's impossible to get dimensional straight. And when you get a big wall and a big wall where you have a lot of light coming in, you'll see those imperfections.
And that is a very good point. It's not so much about the strength
Yeah.
as that window, that side light. There's times I drive by our own jobs and like we'll look at the roof and it's nice, and I'll
Yeah.
drive by later and that low light hits it and it's like,
You're like,
How-
oh boy. Yeah, I just think, in those areas like the high traffic main areas that you're living and using, you're going to notice if you're sitting down on the sofa and the light is blaring on these big glass walls and there's like imperfections in it, especially on luxury houses like this, it doesn't make sense to me not to
Yeah.
use it.
I agree completely.
It's just
Strategic.
makes total sense to do that. Down here at the other end of the basement, so the whole back side of this house is a walkout basement.
It blows me away, Stephanie, that room and coming in here, how bright this thing is.
Yeah.
Like those windows, as we were talking a little bit earlier, the negative about big windows is it might increase the seismic requirements or
Yep.
whatever, but you're going to live in this place. Look at how much light is coming in.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a basement.
Yeah.
I mean, even these views, these views that we're getting out of this lower level, it's insane.
Yeah.
This is not a basement, doesn't feel like a basement. It makes a big difference. So as we get to the backside, all the front stuff is under foundation, it's under dirt where the lot slopes up pretty significantly. And then as we get out to this backside, we've dropped way off on the lot. So all of this is framed, all of this is walkout.
Okay.
Our team's actually come through and started doing a lot of our zip tape now that we've gotten some of our shear inspections.
I noticed one thing. I like how they're so when you go to use the tape, I don't know if there's enough tape left on this line. If I was using the tape, a lot of times I would start something like this.
Yeah.
But you can really pull on the tape if you just fold it over the top. Now I
Oh, yeah.
really pull, which helps me keep it straight.
Yep.
Do that again. And I can now get it wrinkle free.
Yep.
And once I roll it, there's no wrinkles.
Well-
but I noticed whoever's doing the tape did this everywhere.
Yeah, I think, being able to anchor it over the corner makes a big difference. I also think, we're going to come through and do these windows with our zip tape anyways. So our stretch tape that we're going to put over that pan is going to cover it. So I mean, I always tell the guys, like, just pull it into the sill
Yeah.
a little bit, use it as an anchor point, try and keep everything as straight as you can. I mean, aesthetics of the tape it's not a big deal, but when a homeowner pulls up to the house and it looks clean and the install is clean and you can tell that like they paid attention to making sure things weren't wrinkled or installed properly or installed straight. Like some people notice that.
Yeah, I do. I've seen some videos online where the horizontal tape especially is doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty particular about, kind of using my right hand because I typically work left to right.
Yep.
Is stretch it straight and then
And then
it.
smooth
A
it.
lot of times that tells me they're kind of doing it as they go.
Yeah.
I can't keep it straight.
No.
And then it makes your eye catches it and is like, there's something about that.
Something's wrong with that wall.
And there isn't.
No.
It's just tape that's not straight.
Yeah. And as you like walk around this side of the house, it is challenging to tape these sometimes. Like you guys will tape a lot of your big walls while they're down and train them up. It's so nice. A lot of this stuff just can't be taped when it's down. Like we can't build it that way. So when we think about taping this thing,
Yeah.
right? These guys are up on big extension ladders. And even with that, I am really blown away by the attention to detail and how straight all of these tape lines are. And trying to explain to the guys, like, here's when zip tape needs to be used in the middle of a panel.
Yeah.
So you can see a few areas where they've put little pieces in random spots. I just think it's great that they're taking the time and really paying attention.
They're buying in on your goals.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When we used to get safety training, we all resisted it. And the trainers just kept saying, you have to get buy-in. You have to make it your culture. If I don't set a good example, no one else will.
Yep.
Will follow any of it.
Yep.
And then once you get the buy-in, like our goal is this thing, it's straight because, well, if the clients like you and you get more work, then the framers get more work.
Yep.
Like everybody wins.
Everybody
The client
wins.
wins too.
Yeah. And I think one of the things I learned is really kind of teaching the team why we do it. So not necessarily how to do it, but the why behind it. So before we came to this job, because I have some new guys on our crews and they haven't done zip tape yet. So before we came here, we went to a job that had a mechanically fastened WRB, and the siding guys that installed it definitely had to use a lot of tape to patch up areas. And so seeing that in person and explaining to them, this is what you're looking at, and this is why this tape is where it is. And then bringing them here and saying, this zip panel is the mechanically fastened.
See, that I think is what sets you apart from so many. It's also what I think has been great about Build Show is that we are all learners and we're all teachers. So if you want a good end product, you have to teach.
Yeah.
Take it. That's genius. I never thought about taking them over and going, look at all the work these guys had to do. This didn't work out that well. This is why we're using the system.
Yep.
But it really only works well if we install it correctly.
Yep.
And then let's pay a little bit more attention to detail, make it look good on top of it.
Yeah. Even so much as explaining why it has to be rolled. And doing that by just putting a piece of tape on the zip panel and rubbing it down, putting one next to it and rolling it, and then telling the guys, okay, pull them off.
Yeah.
Because they immediately notice a difference. They immediately understand, like, oh, okay. So
And I can see that's all been rolled.
Yeah.
It's obvious. It's got the texture of the panel under it.
Yep.
I'm noticing too, all the hold down straps on this
Yep.
side. So yeah.
Yeah. So again, like we've got big loads. And so you'll see all of these different LST. What are these ones?
Yeah, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4,
LST HD8s,
5,
LST HD10s. Yeah.
Yeah. As the guy doing the concrete for us, I'm really anal about where I locate these.
Yep.
And then vibing the concrete behind it.
Yep.
And whoever did the install did a good job because you don't have a bunch of busted out concrete everywhere.
Yeah. So our foundation crew is also very detailed. They vibe everything. So from footings all the way through to walls, everything, there is somebody following. They're pumping, they're shaking the walls. Like
How deep is this wall?
this wall is probably, this corner here, we're probably 8 feet deep. As we start to get around this backside, it's dropping down quite a bit to get into natural soil, which you can see down below over there. So these are probably 12,
So what's
14,
great
18.
is you documenting this footage. You're a content creator after my own heart because in your van is the drone batteries.
Yes.
You got the
Charging
drone
in the
footage.
cup holder.
Look at this. Yes, charging in the cup holder.
Yeah.
But for anybody that has not watched the previous videos, go watch the foundation videos.
Yeah.
That was like,
It's amazing.
I'm so glad I got to come out here
I'm glad you did too.
because that project was like, I want to be there.
Yeah.
This worked out so well being in Tempe yesterday. And like, we could reroute.
Perfect timing. Yeah, you guys will have to stay tuned because this house has an insane amount of detail. Like, I always love watching the Build Show videos, but there's so many amazing builders in that group that do this part of the build so well. Like, Jake, Matt, Steve, Brian, like you guys have these details where you're talking about the framing and I feel like that's their thing. I really feel like I'm my most comfortable when we get to like drywall and from drywall on, because just like the level of detail in the finishes and the trim and like just bringing everything together and how we pre-plan during framing to account for finish carpentry. And so I personally think the videos are just getting started.
Yeah.
This is when it's just getting fun, and knowing kind of some of the details that the homeowners are using in this is exciting for me. I just got a video last night where we're doing the Starfield lighting in the ceiling.
Oh.
So we did put that like Rolls-Royce star floor in the hot tub upstairs. Now we're going to be adding it to some ceilings in the house.
Nice.
So it'll be very cool. And there is a ton of details to come in the future. So I hope you guys get to make it out again before we're done. All right, guys, we'll see you next time on the Build Show, and be sure to go check out all the other episodes of Altitude Adjustment.